Hey, wine mermaids. This is the Peace, Love, and Wine podcast, bringing you happy hour conversations with awesome women on self-care, sisterhood, and creative living to reduce stress and maximize joy. Life is short, so grab a glass and get ready to sip, sparkle, and make a splash. Make sure to visit peaceloveandwine.com and enter your email to receive VIP deals and get your free self-care download. Now, here's your wine sister hostess with the mostest, Tiffany Humfeld.
We've been dancing on the dance floor.
We have been dancing. That was fun.
Yes.
I was sober dancing, which is so...
You were sober dancing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that before.
Good job on Courage Over Comfort.
Courage over comfort.
Yes.
I chose courage over comfort tonight.
Woot, woot, woot. Sheila has made a decision on her podcast title. Okay, I've had a glass and a half of wine.
I've had about 4 bottles of water.
Good job, girl. Hydrating for me, too. You ate cheesecake. I worked out. I drank wine. You drank water. This is a good match.
It's balance.
Yes.
It's all about balance.
Welcome to the Peace, Love, and Wine podcast. This is Sparkly Wine Mate. I can't even talk. Apparently, I haven't eaten dinner.
Oh, wine was your dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Good choice.
Let's do over. Ready? Welcome to the Peace, Love, and Wine podcast. This is Sparkly Wine Mermaid Tiffany with my lovely guest, Sheilla Dare of Courage Over Comfort.
Hi.
Ooh. Hi, Sheilla.
Thank you for having me. This is a pleasure.
We have really sexy voices right now.
This is our bedroom voice. We're in our bedroom.
We are in our bedroom. Our bedroom for the weekend here at the Marriott Marquis Pride Weekend, Atlanta, Georgia. So where are we, Sheilla? Besides that,
we are at the She Podcast Live event.
She Podcast Live 2019, the first inaugural event. I think that was redundant.
But that's what it is.
It is. I just
First
emphasizing.
Inaugural. It's a hard word to say.
Yeah. It's not an inaugural. It's inaugural.
It's not a nog girl.
It's no, which I could see where you could be confused because it's She Podcast.
It's all women. The few men that are here, they stand out, man.
They do, like those 2 guys.
Those 2 guys. Those 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one guy on the dance party that just happened after a big day of sessions and education and learning about podcasting, one guy just did a rap that I don't remember the name of. I swear it was like 10 minutes long. It was very long.
Was he good?
Yeah, he was pretty good. Apparently he was the DJ last night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Was that when I was up in the bar getting hit on by a man half my age?
Probably.
Oh, well, fair trade.
All right. So I'm like, okay. Let's talk imposter syndrome and our inner critic.
Can we talk about the sparkly in our hair, though?
Oh, yeah. We have some really awesome wreath, mermaid, fairy hair garlands going on.
We're feeling very girly tonight.
We are. There's lots of sparkle and splash.
I think I want to wear this tomorrow and on the plane home and at school on Monday.
Yes. This may be my favorite part of the conference right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Inner critics. May I please meet your inner critic?
Yes.
I'll introduce you to mine.
Okay. Her name's Beatrice.
Beatrice.
And she's a bee, let me tell you.
Why?
Oh, man. She tells me nasty stuff all the time. Like, I am not worthy. I'm not smart. I'm not pretty. I'm not good enough.
Why is she so wrong?
That's a good question. But she is definitely in my head all the time. And you know what's really weird? She sounds an awful lot like my dad.
Ew.
Yeah. It's so sad. She tried coming with me on this trip.
And you said, no, Beatrice.
I left her sassy butt at LAX and I told her to stay there and that I was not picking her up when I get back.
No, do not. Do not do that. I'm sure she tried to call you and be like, girl, I'm coming.
She tried.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hell no.
No, you stay at home, girl.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, mine is Captain Asshole. And, he's just being a real butt right now. Or ass.
Is he
I
here?
guess. Well, he just came. Ooh.
He showed
Ew. What just happened now is we were down at the karaoke dance party, which was part dance party, part karaoke, right?
Right.
Now, it was an awesome, super fun event. But whatever platform they were using, which was cool because it was digital and you could sign up for your song on the app, the audience had way too much power because people could freaking move their song up the list.
That's not right.
No, when I put my name in there, which I was like, okay, Sheilla and I are going to do a podcast. Right. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to go with courage over comfort.
Right. You got the courage to put your name on that list because you have a beautiful singing voice, but you
don't believe anything she says. That's Captain Asshole talking.
Oh, see?
But, okay, so I was like, okay, God, I looked at the thing and I'm 9 on the list. And then later I looked at the thing and I'm like 14 on the list. And then I'm 3 on the list finally. And then I figured I can drag my freaking name up when people pushed me back down. So I was pushing myself back up like, nope, I was up there. Turns out the whole audience seemed to have control over this freaking app in the order. And by the time I was about to go and I was 2 songs away and everybody, all my fans, my 2 fans, were too tired to stay.
I was up here waiting for you.
Having your own dance party on your phone. My freaking name disappeared from the list. Somebody deleted my song. That really got Captain Asshole talking.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Somebody just deleted you.
Yeah.
What the heck?
They were tired of me competing for my own spot, I guess.
That's just not right.
No, it's not right.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, that's a sign that I'm going to come up and Sheilla and I are going to hit record.
I hope you left Captain Asshole down there with the assholes that cut you off the list.
I mean, he squeezed into the elevator with me.
Shoot.
But I think he's just outside the door now. So I think we're safe.
We're not letting him in.
The do not disturb sign is on.
That's right.
Okay. So, excuse me. We are talking about courage over comfort today, as I've said like 5 times now. Tell us, what is that, Sheilla, and how did that come about?
That is the name of the podcast that I'm going to be launching in January. How did that come about?
By the time this comes out, it will probably be launched.
Yes. How did that come about? Well, after lots of brainstorming with my sparkly mermaid friend here, Tiffany.
That's me.
Yes, we came up with that. I had lots of other names chosen, and the longer I hesitate to launch the podcast, those awesome names that I've chosen have been taken.
So I think the lesson here is you got to Nike the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yep, exactly.
This all starts even before that. Why did you decide to launch a podcast, Miss Sheilla Dare?
Let me tell you my story. A year ago, I'm a student. I'm a full-time student at Cal State Fullerton. And last year, one of my class projects was to create a blog. I'm a communications major, so my teacher said, your semester-long projects, create a blog. You have to have 9 entries to get an A, whatever. And I didn't know how to create a website or what I wanted to blog about. So I thought a lot about it and figured if I'm going to do all of this work and spend the hours to create this website, I want it to be something more than just the 9 entries to get a good grade. I wanted it to be
So they set the bar low at 9.
They did, and it could have been anything. It could have been crap.
9 whatever, just 9
just
posts to the internet?
9 posts to your blog. Whatever you decide your blog is going to be, you had to have at least 9 posts to that blog. However, like you could be creative and do whatever you want. So the overachiever in me and the perfectionist in me took it the whole 9 yards and decided to turn it into a year-long personal development project. Absolutely. So each month I decided to identify an area in my life that was holding me back.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you do this? Did you plan all this out ahead of time?
I didn't.
So the month was coming and you're like, where am I stuck?
Yes. And Beatrice was super loud in my head at that time in my life. She was just
You can call
raging.
her the full B word, by the way.
Fucking Beatrice the bitch, man. She's a bitch. She is just So all of the crap that she has been telling me for several decades, I finally had to sit down with her and figure out what the hell's going on. So
How did you sit down with her? Like, she's such a bitch. How did you have the patience to sit down with her?
Oh, I was scared. And there were tears. Yeah. So I said, look, I don't like this that you're telling me, and you're labeling me as this, and you're holding me back, and you're causing all kinds of limiting beliefs for me. So let's dissect them one at a time. So each month I sat down and thought about where in my life was super weak and why. The why is the most important. So one of the earlier months in the project was to learn how to swim. I didn't know how to swim.
And you're like a full-blown adult.
Right. And I was always embarrassed to tell people I didn't know how to swim because it's so strange.
I actually know several adults who don't know how to swim.
You know, now that I talk about it, I'm meeting a lot of people who don't, but it was my own insecurities. I thought that's really weird. Everybody knows to swim.
I'm going to blame that on your parents, by the way.
I absolutely blame my father for all of this.
And yet you overcame.
I did.
Beatrice, the sound of your father's voice.
Right. So knowing my why had to be big enough for me to continue to do the challenge and see it through for the entire month. So I believe it was the month of October, I found a swim instructor who teaches little children in a little 4-foot pool that's 90 degrees so he could take all of the excuses out of not wanting to swim. So the pool was warm, it was very shallow, and yet on my first swim lesson, I was crying even before I got in the little pool. I had so much anxiety and fear and trauma from when my dad threw me in the pool as a child, trying to teach me how to swim that way. And
he took just jump in the deep end, literally.
Absolutely. And my mother, so we were on a vacation in Palm Springs, and the house we were staying in had a pool, and my mother didn't know how to swim. And my father was, raging alcoholic. So drunk dad.
Not cheers to that.
No. Drunk dad throws me in the pool to teach me how to swim. Mom is standing there screaming because she can't come in and save me, and I'm flailing in the water, swallowing all kinds of water and crying, and not even, I would think I was 7. I didn't understand what was happening, and eventually my mom was screaming at my dad to go in and get me, and he pulled me out. And the whole rest of the day I was in trouble. I was in trouble for crying. I was in trouble for not learning how to swim that way, and I wasn't allowed to talk the rest of the night, and it was an awful experience. So, I mean, that right there in itself gave me a lot of limiting beliefs about me and how I needed to be perfect for my dad, and a lot of fear and anxiety over being in the water. So that first lesson with my instructor was really intimidating for me. And I was glad that we were in the water because he wasn't able to see the tears on my face because I was already all wet. So that was a really powerful month for me of doing something out of my comfort zone. I also did a month of no shopping. Aside from the essentials like groceries, I did 1 month of a shopping diet because I would shop as a means for comfort when things weren't going well. I'm like, you know what? I need to find other ways to figure out what's going on with me to manage stress instead of spending all my money. What else did I do? I did 1 month of visiting a new place every day, even if it was Starbucks in a part of town I'd never been in. That was, to me, a new place. Mm-hmm. I did my first solo trip that month. I went to Utah by myself, got a rental car by myself, stayed in a hotel by myself, attended a seminar by myself. So that was a big month, too.
And this is all happening the year after you got divorced, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you had not had to work outside of the home, or at that point, were you in school?
I was a student. Yeah, that's what prompted the blog.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I had been a housewife and stay-at-home mom for 15 years, and my marriage ended, and my son grew up to be an awesome human being and flew the nest, and I was, for the first time in my life, completely alone, living by myself and trying to figure out who the hell I was. So this year-long project was really awesome because each month I was able to identify why I had this limiting belief, what my fear was, and what the heck I needed to do to overcome it, and then spent a month just head on facing my fears. And then the end of the month was some major reflection. And a lot of these things that I did, I've continued to do in my life. So
when you reflected at the end of each month, is that kind of when you figured out what the next month's challenge for you would be?
Yeah, normally around 3 or 4 days before the next month was coming up, I'd be like, okay, I gotta figure out the next thing. I mean, it's a laundry list of things, right? We spend so much time being hard on ourselves for everything that we were taught growing up, all of the labels that are put upon us by our parents or by other people or even by ourselves, all of that negative self-talk, it's built up for so long. I mean, I feel like
you're carrying Beatrice on your back.
She's like a big abscess coming out of me sometimes.
Get off, Beatrice.
Right.
You're oozing.
Lance her off, man. Yeah, so she's actually, it's interesting. The more I work on myself and explore myself, sometimes the louder she gets. And I feel like
you're peeling the layers away.
Right. And she's pushing back. I'm like, no, girl, it's me time.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes she's pretty loud, but it's because I'm doing the work to figure out why she's there, and she starts to get really loud, and then I could address the deeper issues and push her aside for a while until the next thing I need to work on comes up.
I think that's why they call it new level, new devil, right? Like that's where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
You like push past one of your what you thought was a limitation. So now you've grown, and then, I just got closer to another limitation.
Exactly. Each time you achieve a new level, there's another higher level to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And she's always there waiting for me.
Okay, so that was the project.
Right. So after the year, when the project was wrapping up, I was on...
Where can people find that blog, by the way, where you talk about it?
My blog is, you can just type in on the web. It's breakingupwithmycomfortzone.com. And there's lots of fun stuff on there about podcasts that have inspired me, books that have inspired me. Each month is on there with what I did and why and a recap. And so the very last month that I was doing my last monthly challenge, I was sitting there thinking, well, this has been cool, and reflecting back on the last year and everything I've learned and how it's changed me. I was just sitting there thinking, I actually don't want this to end. This has grown into its own big, huge thing.
And you've grown, and you don't want your growth to end.
Right. I think also, as I've been on this journey and how I've changed and what I've learned, I've had friends come up to me and say, thank you, you've inspired me, or you've lifted this dark cloud that's been over me just by what you're doing and what I see on Instagram and your positivity. And every time someone would tell me that, I would then go to my car and just cry, because it was so meaningful that I had the ability to inspire someone else when I spent so many years being unhappy and struggling with depression and anxiety, and nobody wanted to be around me. For people to suddenly be telling me that I've inspired them, that was huge to me. And so I wanted to take this to a bigger platform where it can affect other people, not just me. And as the 12 months have come to an end, but I'm still doing challenges. I'm doing Sober October this month. This is October when we're recording. So I'm still doing things to get me out of my comfort zone.
I might be the worst friend ever right now because I'm drinking a glass of wine right next to you. So.
But that's okay, because if your why is strong enough, other things cannot derail you. I'm very purposefully doing Sober October, and every time I look at you're not the only one drinking tonight. We were at a party with free booze. Free booze has been flying every night since we've gotten here. And so, I look at it and think, I'd love a glass of wine right now, but my resolve for why I'm doing it is stronger than the weakness to take that sip of wine.
And talk about that, because I think that's important, especially with a podcast that's entitled Peace, Love, and Wine. What made you decide to hashtag Sober October?
Well, right now I'm involved in a 3-month workshop with a relationship coach and about 20 other women. And we're working on self-love and being better in our relationships and doing all of that hard inner work on myself breaking old patterns, figuring out why I chose the relationships I did. And all of that has been really hard. And each time we uncover a part of ourselves through this workshop, through this 3-month workshop, it's exciting to be able to correct the things in my life that aren't working, but it's also really hard to go there at the same time. And I was drinking every night, and 1 glass led to 2 glasses. And then by 9 p.m., I hadn't done my homework for the night, and I was ready for bed. And then the next day I was hungover and causing anxiety because then I didn't do my homework. And then the problems were still there the next day. And so after a couple weeks of doing that, I realized, that's not a good path for me either.
If you're creating a negative pattern.
Exactly. And I still suffer every now and then from depression. It's not nearly as bad as it was before. And I recognize it a lot quicker now when it starts to set in. And I know exactly what I need to do for me when that happens. And one of them is to not drink, because alcohol is a depressant. And when I'm already feeling bad about myself and then I'm drinking to numb it and make it go away, well, you know what? The next day, hi, it's still all right there waiting for me with Beatrice. So I heard from
Beatrice laughs like a cackly witch with her collection of empty wine bottles.
She does, man. She's there the next morning. Absolutely. So a friend of mine on social media had been posting that he was going to do Sober October. At the same time, I was realizing this doesn't serve me. It's not moving me towards my goal to be drinking like this every night. And I decided to hop on board. And when I first decided, I just had told him, hey, I'm in with you. I'm going to do it. But then when October 1st rolled around, I thought, you know what? If my goal is to inspire others to do challenges and to push themselves out of their comfort zone, I'm going to post this on Instagram. So I did, just like, hey, Sober October, who's in? And I got such a great response from so many friends, and actually people I didn't know, just from the hashtag Sober October. And they're like, hey, this is cool, I'm in. So now I have a little community of people doing it with me. And it's so awesome to see. And we're all talking each day. How you doing? I see you're at a bar, but you got your water. Great job. And it's just a awesome support group just for this one little month of Sober October. So realizing I wanted to do all of this on a bigger platform, I was like, podcast. That's it, podcast. And there was no wavering. It's not, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. Let me see if it's going to work in my schedule and whatever. It was no, immediately podcast. And then, of course, I thought, who can mentor me? Oh, well, Tiffany can mentor me. So about 5 minutes after I decided that, I called you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was right away. I called you. I'm like, hey, you have a podcast, right? You're like, yeah, of course I have a podcast. Yeah. So you were like, absolutely. This is exciting. Let's talk. And hey, by the way, I'm going to this She Podcast conference in Atlanta. Why don't you come? And so here we are. This is amazing how we've been planning this for 5 months. Several months we've been planning this.
Yeah, I think in July we started talking.
July, August, October.
So
it feels like it's been longer because I think I've been so excited and anticipating coming. And so here's where the imposter syndrome comes in, right? Because I have yet to launch my podcast.
Who am I to go to this podcast conference?
Right. Who? I don't even have a name yet for my podcast. Really, that's what I thought. Who am I to be here? And once I got here, I realized that God, give yourself a break sometimes, really. And I've met a lot of people here this weekend who are also in the planning stages of developing their podcast, and they haven't launched yet either. So now I've met so many great people that I've connected with that we're all in the same boat and at the same stage. And then I've also met other people who are ahead of me in the game and who could advise me and give me more tips. And this has been a really awesome weekend. Yay. Getting out of my comfort zone to do something so like really big and kind of scary, but exciting at the same time.
Yeah, it is. And we were talking about how both of us flew here independently, like separately on different flights and airlines, and had to figure out how to get to the hotel, which, isn't a big deal, except you're like, well, let me see if I can take the train, figure out how to get the train to the hotel rather than just pulling up my app, right?
Right. There's there's cheaper ways than Lyft. I think it was a 20-minute ride from the airport, and that Lyft would have been at least like $30.
It was $250.
Right. The train was $250 to take the train.
And it was amazing. Go Atlanta with your MARTA system and your public transportation, airport to Peachtree Center.
It was like a 100-yard walk from the train station to the hotel. It's so close.
And yet I still turned the wrong way when I got off the train.
Well, that's okay. I got off on the wrong exit on the train.
I think that's just another lesson of like, yep, we're going to hit hurdles.
Right. But see, that's the thing. We could have easily taken a Lyft and it could have picked us up and dropped us off right at the front door of the hotel. But instead we chose to be adventurous and get out of our comfort zone and figure out how to get a train ticket and what platform to stand on and what train to get on and what exit to get off of. And yeah, my high heel boots that day were not meant for walking I passed the exit and had to walk back half a mile to the hotel. But it actually was an adventure. I enjoyed it.
And a bruise-filled adventure.
It was, but I've never been to Atlanta. So walking down the streets and looking at the trees and
there are a lot of trees here.
It's beautiful here. So that was a whole experience in itself, just to do something I wouldn't normally do just because something another way is easier doesn't mean it's better. So even just taking the train was a growth experience.
Yeah. Go courage over comfort.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So the podcast is meant to encourage others to also get out of their comfort zone and to inspire them to look at what areas might be holding them back in their lives. And it's to live their best life, and that's going to be different for each person. I can't tell you how to live your life or what's best for you. You know, you have to decide that, but the podcast will encourage you to look at those areas in your life, and I will share my story and I will interview other people who are doing similar things, doing things that scare them and how they're better for it and lessons they've learned. And I'm really excited about it.
I'm really excited for you. And I'm really excited to be a guest on that show and to do that thing that I'm talking about that I'm very scared about.
Listeners will have to wait for that to know what she's talking about.
It might involve shimmying and pasties.
Yeah.
that might have already happened by the time this releases. Who knows?
Which is great because then you could tell me what you learned and how the experience was. And
that should have already happened, I guess, by the time this
releases. You're already exploring with the idea of what you're doing, and so so here's my challenge to you. You have this is October. You have couple good months to do that thing. This is your challenge that I'm giving you. Do that thing, and then we'll talk about it.
Where should my debut be?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. We'll have to brainstorm.
Yeah.
Your living room, and I'll video you, and we'll upload it to YouTube.
Maybe, but I feel like there's something very special, scary, and intimate about it being a live performance. By the way, we're totally talking about a burlesque show.
I don't know what our city rules are, but you can do it.
I'm not doing it on the street.
Oh, okay.
We'll figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I am so excited, and I am looking forward to the point when I get to do the sort of when this gets released, and I get to add my little tag saying we recorded this in the past, and now I want you to listen to Sheila's podcast. So, everybody. This is future Tiffany saying, go listen to Courage Over Comfort by Sheilla Dare.
Thank you. That's so exciting that even just to hear you say that. By the time this podcast episode is launched, my podcast will be launched. And just know that if you're listening to this, I am so excited that you are listening to this. I want to cry right now. I'm so excited.
Oh, where can people find you?
Well, for now, because this is all still in the development stages and I don't have the website set up yet. Yes. Okay. So my Instagram is Sheilla Dare, SheilladAre.
Yay!
Yes. Thank you. Instagram's probably the biggest platform I'll be talking about my podcast. So you'll get all the scoop there.
I'm so proud of you, and thank you for letting me pop your podcast cherry.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Hey, mermaid, and any mermen and pirates who might be lurking around. Thank you so much for listening. If you've been enjoying the show, I'd love to invite you to check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/peace-love-and-wine. There you can find ways to support the show through our virtual tip jar / micro sponsorship and membership in the official Peace, Love, and Wine Club. You'll find different tiers with different benefits, such as getting your name in the show notes, getting a handwritten letter from yours truly, and getting a shout out on the podcast itself. Additionally, we are adding some fun tiers with my new burlesque behind the scenes adventures, where you'll get access to photos, blog posts, and videos that will not be shown to the general public. So if any of that sounds like fun to you, if you've ever had a laugh or gained some wisdom or insight from the show, I'd appreciate if you could take the time to check us out over at Patreon and see if that's something that you might be open to participating in. As we get more founding patron members, we will add more fun things too, possibly things like virtual happy hours where we meet virtually and enjoy a drink and conversation together. So I'm curious to hear what you'd like to see. You can always email me, info@peaceloveandwine.com. And again, check it out in the show notes, patreon.com/peaceloveandwine.